Hey y'all, just a reminder that this season of Two Peas in a Pod is also available on YouTube. Check out the video version and give us a like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at 2peas_pod.
Listen, have y'all watched The Clippers? It's on Showtime.
I've been hearing people talk about it.
Do you know the story?
I do, but I haven't watched it.
But I heard like some of the people.
I knew a little bit of the story, but not like in the depth of it and like the tea. But mama, listen, can I just vent real quick? Can I just have 5 seconds? Okay, cool.
I like your 5 seconds of fame.
Okay, here we go. So I was shooketh because first of all, I was shooketh.
Ugh.
Shooketh.
Take me back.
Because the girl who set up the side hoe, the girl that did all of this is fucking smart. I was like, baby girl knew how to lock in her future and like fuck some shit up. And I'm proud of her. But
it's the power of the P.
The mad disrespect to the wife that girl did was insane. Like if I was wifey, I probably definitely
She has to go.
would have thought about some illegal things because the disrespect that
I
little
like
girl
how
did.
illegal things is like, ooh.
What could it be?
What could it be?
Everything's illegal.
Well,
we
might just be doing everything
it's a
to
very
her.
broad umbrella of like what could it be?
Laws
Yeah.
are made to be broken.
Listen, so if y'all haven't watched it, it's written really well, and Ted Bundy is the fucking guy.
As in the serial killer?
Not Ted Bundy.
What's happening here? This is the case.
His name
Ted
Ted
Bundy?
This is
Bundy?
the case of Jasmen Strikes Again. Derek B, can I get a bum, bum, bum?
Y'all love it when I do this.
I love when she fucks
You're
up
not
like
the only
the
one.
person, because it's just like...
Not the person, but the names. I love when I fuck up words.
It's my favorite part of the show.
No, but
Like in actuality.
The guy who played like
No.
like,
Okay, maybe it's not Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy was a serial killer.
Yeah, but not him. What's
He's
the
not
guy
my favorite
from,
serial killer at all.
not top 10.
the sitcom who had the hot daughter and the son and then the hot wife? Fuck.
Married with Children.
Yes.
Al
Bundy.
Al
his name
Bundy.
Al
Okay,
Bundy?
but that guy.
It's a Bundy.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, but
Thank
back
you.
off. That guy's name is not Al Bundy. That's
real
the
life?
character. In real life,
That's
his
who
name
he's
is like
supposed to be.
Ed something.
Whatever.
To me, that is Al Bundy
Oh, he
forever.
was on Modern Family.
Yeah, he's definitely not Al Bundy either. So you
Listen,
still
Al
don't
Bundy
know
on
his
Modern
name.
Family. Like,
Yeah.
He's
I'm
supposed
gonna
to take
need
on
you-
the same character no
I
matter
love
what he's
this.
in.
I
He
love
does.
today.
He
That's how I
does.
feel.
Can
Yeah.
you enlarge this for me?
Can you suck my? No, I'm just kidding.
I will later. I will later. Maybe I won't at all. Okay, so listen.
Okay.
We're going to get into it. Are you ready? Are you excited?
I am.
So you said you've been on a podcast before.
A while ago.
Okay.
Especially an in-person one. Like I've done a couple like virtual, but
Those are not as fun.
I don't know, they hit different for sure.
I mean, because you can't create a vibe to introduce
Exactly.
your person into your lair in order to like elicit the information that you're wanting.
and really get to know them a little bit for like that hour or 2
Because we
hours,
actually don't really know you. So that's like where we're going to start. Who the fuck are you?
I don't know. Can I say the N-word? Is that a thing?
You can say
Yeah.
I think I'm probably the realest nigga doing the right work in the city.
Hey.
Metroplex, to be honest.
Big Purr.
It's Vanessa.
And it's Jasmine.
And we're two peas in a pod.
Are you ready to play a game? This is like Saw. Are you ready to play a
This
game?
is not like Saw at all.
Okay.
It's not at all like Saw.
Not even close.
Not even a little bit like Saw.
The way she said, oh.
So I'm sorry for that.
Really bad. Real back my
Sometimes
excitement.
she's a little unhinged, but so am I. And that's why we are two peas in a motherfucking pod.
That makes sense.
Two peas in a
Yad. But okay, so to be fair, we don't really know you. And like people,
We're very excited to get to know you.
We are. And this is our last actual recording for the season.
It is. Everybody,
Even
round of
though
applause.
Yeah, so
we're gonna cut all
we
of
don't
this
know
out.
you that well, but and this is the thing that happens, I think, with a lot of entrepreneurs and people who are doing things in the city, is we attend all of these events and we support people like really mad. We hard support them because they're doing great things.
Mm-hmm.
But then to sit down and be like, really like, who is the person behind this great thing that I really enjoy doing, that you see zipping and, you know, diving and rolling
In and out.
in and out, cast, a sling, a crutches, or wherever. Every time a different thing going on.
Very toxic behavior.
Yeah, and it's like that. Hey, we know because we host events, and they don't see us either. They'll be like, "Where were you?" And it's like if we weren't
We're in the alley crying.
in the alley crying and getting high to try to go
Sliding
back
down
in
the
there
wall.
and like fix a problem, then
Detaching.
Right.
yeah, delusion and then to
Mentally and
delusion.
emotionally.
Yeah.
sure.
But the thing is, the best part about these things is that the events are wild. The things that we see behind the scenes, and that's a great place to start. The things we see behind the scenes, people don't really know, because then the feedback is, this was like such a great event. My family really enjoyed this. The content you put out was great. You supported the community. And you're just like, woo, that's the paycheck.
Right.
Because they don't even need to know. They don't even need to know that your DJ equipment got burned up, and that's why you had to switch to a playlist, and
Right.
you got sand in her equipment from a tarp, and your vendor ran out of food, and all the things
This
that
sounds
could happen.
This sounds like a real life thing. It sounds very relatable. Like that sounds like something that happened.
Yeah, and we learn from each thing, and we're always apologetic when things happen, and then we fix them, right?
For sure.
Because you have to have mistakes to be able to.
Well, how else do you learn?
Yeah.
I always tell people,
Right.
like when we were in school, what did they give us papers full of? Motherfucking problems.
To solve.
And we had to solve them.
Problem
so
solvers from the
listen,
get.
that's just what the fuck we are.
And we're like, if there was a problem,
Yo,
I'll solve it.
Some people have adapted, other people have not.
yeah.
As far as like problem solving,
Yeah.
they just make the problem worse,
Right. They stress about it or they whine about it.
or they
I'm
stress
like,
you about it. People see the food park and they're like, "Oh, that's event planning is your thing," and I actually despise event planning. I never like just aspired to be in it as the way that I'm in it. So in reality, like my professional job is an urban planner or like a city planner, and so like a simple version of that is the people that determine like the plans and policies for neighborhoods and cities. So all the bad stuff that you see happening, there's a reason behind it. There's a design behind it. And so the profession that I'm in is responsible for that.
So are y'all the people that build those pylons in the city that make the houseless people not be able to put up their encampments?
I feel like those are more architects than us, but we are the people behind the policy. So like the main thing you've been hearing in Dallas is affordable housing, highway construction, or like bringing down highways. The way that, you see certain enclaves of black and brown people, and then you see enclaves of white people. The different job types, the way like you move in the city. Like 1 minute you feel like it's rainbows and it's the perfect cartoon episode. Next minute it's like, damn.
When is this perfect cartoon episode? I want to see that one.
well, you know what's
Like
funny?
when you start out in the cartoon, like the intro, really.
yeah.
Oh, we got it. Dallas has a good intro. You're right.
For sure.
We sell it.
They hook you with the
we
intro.
sell it.
They do.
And
We
then
are all rich and
into the
famous
episode,
out here on
it's
Dallas.
like,
yeah.
this is kind
Yeah.
of dreary. So that's my day
They've been doing
job.
that since the 70s on The Real Dallas, the show.
Yeah, no, for sure.
We're the extension of that
funny
bullshit culture.
being painted the picture as a child, and then when you like grow up to actually know the true tea, you're like, oh, so this was like real fake.
It's like a decade. It's like a century-long catfish, and that's crazy.
That is
crazy.
insane.
So yeah, that is my actual job, city planner. Like I went to school for it and everything. My mom been working at the city for like almost 20 years. So my mom been in local government forever. So she always been pretty adamant about us being like involved and voting and shit. Like I didn't start voting until I was probably like 20.
Okay.
Even though my mom worked for the city, but also just like as a person from rural Louisiana, of like voting wasn't always a right. So vote in your local stuff. If nothing else, vote locally. And I'ma always push that to vote locally. So we always been active in the city. Shit, before the city even had the stadium, before the city even, people just like drove through Arlington, like, ain't nobody really stopping. Wasn't nothing to see, wasn't nothing to do.
Unless it was rodeo time.
Going to Fort Worth, going to the stockyards. And so
Six Flags.
shit. And so that's the thing. That's the crazy part. There for. I never went to Six Flags as a kid.
Isn't that weird?
That's so wild.
Which is like, it wasn't at the time. I mean, look at it now. At the time, like, it wasn't affordable. And my parents.
No, it's crazy expensive.
But now we have like the little, the whatever, the pass or whatever. But
before.
growing up as a kid there, you saw the differences. Like we don't have a bus and people always bitch about that. And the reality of it is, people don't really know how cities function. And now as somebody who practices that, like I don't expect people to. So you just got to let people kind of be ignorant for a little bit until you just kind of unload like what that all takes. Yeah. I'm not against public transit, but I think a lot of people, even with Dallas, of riding public transit as a woman with kids, groceries. Like,
hell no.
It's a lot. I know people personally that are just like, I ain't never getting back on DART because I done had a bad experience. Like either somebody that followed me, stalked me, tried to harass me, and just didn't take
No, because but also isn't public transportation directly pouring into the city, not the city's inhabitants, which is the thing. Like, why are we not helping those people have a vehicle? Like, that's where I still go back to. We're doing everything wrong. Everything's just wrong.
Some people don't want to drive. Like, some people. So sometimes I'm like the anomaly planner.
Well,
I like driving.
Pay for their rideshare program or pay for their Uber. Give them a bus pass to Uber versus a bus pass to DART. Let people choose the way they feel comfortable to transport themselves, and let the city pay for that. If you want us to work and pay these goddamn taxes,
for sure,
we need a place to get to work.
So on the taxes part, vote locally. Read the props. Read the prop A, B, whatever the prop is, and understand that like public infrastructure.
420 best prop ever.
Public infrastructure is a burden that, like with a stadium, cities would rather take on because it's attractive, it's sexy, it's gonna pay for itself rather than public infrastructure. So
irritating.
Very much so. So you gotta you're trying to undo policies from the 60s.
So how do you
20s.
undo policy, D? What do you do every day? Do you go slash tires in the night? Are you out here social
That's
media?
What Vanessa does.
Are you on Twitter bullying these politicians?
I used to be on Twitter really
hidden, heavy. Do you have a secret account and you're just out there? What do you do?
I'm not secret about it. So again, that anomaly of, we was talking about this when I was in Baltimore. I think I have a privilege that my planning stuff is on the same page as my personal page. The only page is different is the food park and because it grew so much that I had to give it its own thing.
Because you're you're taking over my life and you're just one event that I do.
Basically, you know what I'm saying? So I had to give it its own platform. But, you advocate on social media and that works, but it's you show up. And now I can't, I can't fight everything from housing to transit to food access. Right. There are a lot of phenomenal people that may not be classically trained or went to planning school that are doing the work, and there are some people who are out in the front look like they doing the work, but they making the problem worse. So you got to show up for the boring shit. Really, that's a big part of my job of showing up for the boring shit,
the city hall meetings and shit council, like that.
You should trademark that shit. That's a shirt. That's the next shirt.
I'd
showing up for your neighborhood.
Yes,
because sometimes the people in your neighborhood are the main opponents of every little thing that it's not going to benefit them. It's kind of like that saying of with gun violence, well, it don't matter to me until it happened to me. And now that it happened to you, now you gung-ho at every you going to the Capitol.
But see, okay, let me speak on that because you hit that. So, but I also believe is everybody's not spiritually on a path until they are. And it may take a life event for them to change, to be a supporter, because all causes need support.
For sure.
But every cause can't get all the support. So for example, a way you can show up for your community if you don't choose to vote is maybe keep the kids of everybody who does vote so they can all go out and vote that day. Something in exchange, because to me, doing community also means I got to agree to disagree with the fact that the work you do is important, but me personally, I'm not finna go out and vote anymore. I live my life as an organizer doing that. I was deputized in the city of Dallas and would get people to vote. That was literally my job at one point. in a former life. And for me, I think that is now the young people's cause to do. And I want them to do it because that's who should be making the decisions about what y'all want for the rest of the time that I won't be on the planet, right? Because it's your city now. And
So what you said, like, agree to disagree, that's the biggest.
But I'll keep your kids while you do that.
That's the biggest thing that when you talking about community, and I was thinking about that on my way here, like, I would never call myself a community organizer. Like, organizing, it ain't my blood. I'm not an activist by trade.
But look at God.
I'm just doing what I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. But there are people who are actually like a prime example with the protests in 2020. I stand behind it 100%. That's not my mission. That's not my ministry. I support people that did it. You know what I'm saying? But you gotta be in a different mindset, and that's gotta be in you and not on you. So, like, in community, you gotta be okay with people not agreeing with you. You gotta be okay with people being on a different page, as long as the collective idea is still progress, liberation, or putting everybody in a different position. So it's voting ain't everybody, and it's not everybody's charge because they see like shit ain't shit changing. But also for the people who are, and educate them on who they should possibly be voting for. Lay it all out. Make your own decision, but like lay it all out, understanding like infrastructure dollars, housing dollars, park board, all of that type of shit. It's a lot. I'm not gonna hold you. It's a lot. And it's like you gotta piece it, break it down piece by piece. So I mean that was really the whole reason like that I got into planning. I had always noticed the difference of going from one side of Arlington to another. Like you said, like my parents had only started coming to Dallas when I started doing this project. Like they never. My dad go to Fort Worth. Like I grew up playing basketball in like my school in Fort Worth before I went to Arlington. But my mom, she not a highway driver. She hated, but she come to Dallas. Yeah, she come to Dallas for me, and I appreciate that because like you said before, my parents like they work in Arlington, they live in Arlington.
It was all there.
They stay in Arlington.
Yeah, stay in Arlington, and it was just like it wasn't they wasn't coming to Dallas because it seemed so dangerous. It's just like. What's out there. It seems so far away, even now further now, with all like the construction. But what was out there, and do I need to be there, or can I do it here, or do I just not need to do it at all? So it's definitely people finding the big part of it is it's funny that you had talked about the Clippers documentary before, and not referencing that, but like from a sports standpoint of some people just don't want to play their role, and that's just what it is. Like.
Hey y'all, this episode is sponsored by Do Right by the Streets Urban Planning LLC. I don't know, you know what? You know what's crazy? We have the actual founder here.
There she is.
You don't even have to answer that question.
She just walked in.
Listen.
Come save my life.
I got you.
Dee Powell in the flesh. So what does Do Right by the Streets Urban Planning do?
So
tell us.
DRBTS, make it easy. I know that's a lot of words to say Do Right by the Streets.
Thank you, because I was getting tongue-tied a while ago. You heard that.
So we're an urban planning consulting firm that focuses on educating communities of color about zoning and land use awareness. And we do placekeeping activities for semi-permanent to permanent activations for economic mobility, whatever is necessary in that community of color.
Period.
You heard it here first.
She's that bitch.
BTS. That's what they're doing. It's not a band. They're not singing songs. They're planning the city for you.
That's right. So make sure you go ahead and
check them out. How can
head on over.
As Jasmine likes to say, head on over. Because we're always heading on over because we're Texans.
Gotcha.
Aren't you heading on over somewhere when you leave here?
Come on, y'all. Head on over.
Head on over, y'all. Head on over to Do Right by the Streets Urban Planning. Where can they find you?
Instagram at @DD_P. So THEDEE_P, and then DRBTSurbanplanning.com.
That's it. You heard it here.
Yes, right. Go follow them now.
Most of you probably know us as Two Peas in a Pod, your favorite podcast. But we are so much more. From publishing to podcasts and everything in between. Check out 2Ps Media. That's 2ps.media for a list of our services and pricing packages. We want to help you avoid expensive mistakes, so we put together a video content library on how to do all things media. We can do all or part of your media project for you and customize any package to meet your budget. Check out 2ps.media for your next P.
Like I said earlier, I got into planning because I was fascinated with the way that Black people move. Like, just going from even one end of Texas to another. Like I said earlier, my family is from northern Louisiana, very rural, maybe 500 people. Maybe.
What part?
Lake Providence.
Okay.
So it's on the other side of Monroe. And I was fortunate that, I saw rural life, but I saw city life, but I saw like going into the city is still a thing. Going on the other side of the tracks is still a thing. Mm-hmm. I had a grandmother that did the reverse of, migration, coming from Detroit to the South when everybody was leaving the South to go to the North for opportunity, freedom, so on and so forth. So I'm grateful that, I didn't even know that was going to be my path, but I always had that person or those people that poured into that like, it always sparked my interest. It wasn't ever planned. It was just like a conversation of, we talked about the civil rights at school. Was that you? You was alive? So like knowing that they're alive, but like even maybe like 6 years ago, being able to sit down with my grandmother and like ask her, when that was happening, how did that affect y'all here? She's like, we saw it and we understood it, but we also knew for some of us that was a different conversation. We couldn't necessarily boycott because this is all we got. We can't necessarily put it on the line, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so my whole thing getting into it was making it accessible to Black and brown people. My first job at the city of Lancaster, it changed my whole perspective because I saw people coming in every day that, I heard so-and-so could do it. I heard this, I heard that. Like you were talking about earlier, I saw people giving up their land for pennies on a dollar because either they was getting pestered so much or it seemed like a good deal, not really knowing, like, just hold on to it or, get the highest value that you can.
Or they were steeped in addiction and poverty themselves.
Right. Generational poverty is
so
real.
They don't understand the value they even have.
And generational trauma is real. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So seeing that and wanting to at least be a person that they could come to City Hall and feel like, okay, I actually want to go to City Hall, not just to pay a bill or to, go off on somebody, but like be somebody they can ask for and like, okay, you're actually trying to help me solve my problem or get me to where I need to go. And that just kind of picked up the momentum of like why I do what I do. I know, when you work in the city, you do have some boundaries on you. You can't do everything you want. There's no creativity in those cities, but it's all about how much you want to pour into it and like what you want to change. So I wanted to change that perception from people, from my desk, from my cube, for what I could do, and that was just educating people of like, wait, let's not spend no money. Let's not go do all these crazy things. Let's just kind of sit down and talk. And that was coming out of the comfort zone for me. Like I'm, unbeknownst to people, like I'm super introverted. Like the food park and the social media.
We could tell.
Thank you. When people call me an extrovert, it make me do something. It make me feel some type of way.
No, you rather go
don't
do that.
We can read it, but you also are very great at talking, though.
You know how to
I appreciate
what
that.
you do.
And that was the hardest thing of like, I never understood. Like I ain't never worked a sales job. When Vector came that summer and everybody was going to Vector, I was like, bro, I'm not finna sell no fucking knives. I can't even sell Girl Scout cookies. My mama be doing it for me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just
but that's good for people to hear because a lot of people don't understand. Sometimes if you have a message that you're a path you're on of something you have to do for your community, you are your best like front man. You are the person who should be telling people, even if it makes you uncomfortable, because you will get better at it. And we've watched you progress on social media, telling your story. And to be fair, your awkwardness and your introvertedness is what makes people attracted to what you're doing because
it works.
Nobody should go on there thinking that they need to be a polished like superstar to help their city. That's crazy. We're all different types of people.
Most definitely.
So you did that.
I do want to compliment on the fact that I think it's big when people can take on a job that might be frustrating for others who want to see a change and know that I can still impact in some way, whatever it might be minuscule, right, in a sense, because there's so many things going on in grand scale.
So many
But
problems.
the fact that you have the patience to sit there and be that person for people to come in moments, I think that's huge, because people get frustrated and would be like, fuck this.
Yeah, all the time. Like, and that makes it easier to like keep the systems that are in place because people, the system is already kind of like designed in a way that we're gonna put them in so many circles, from incarceration, lack of parent, lack of stability, job opportunity, no car, or not being able to afford a car note regularly. Why can't I fix this today? Why can't I have people's answers today? Having to understand that I had to peel back the layers of my profession, of the city that I was in, the context of the people, the person who was here before me or doing the work before me, that this wasn't always a conversation people had. Like, they wasn't coming up here to like be nice. It was already on my mind of, I'm finna come up there and set it off. And I get it. So I had to sit with that, and understanding that like that shit is eating me up. Like, I'm going home every day like, this ain't working.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
did I just go to school for nothing? Like, what am I gonna do? Type of thing.
I feel like that every day as a teacher. You ain't gotta get me into that.
No. Your hustle doesn't go unnoticed for sure. And so with that, I created these cards because I wanted it to be simple. People always, besides my mama and probably my grandma, my girl now, even my best friend, like, people don't
shout out the girl.
Yeah.
The girl got the shout out. Hey, purr, big purr.
People don't really know what I do. And so I try to make it simple. We was joking about it. Like, I say something different every time. I just make sure I can include community and
But people like to play cards.
So these cards, talk to me about them.
Yeah. So they're not they're not like playing cards, but they're like
Nobody
like
gives you the sense of it when you're holding them.
For sure.
Like, it looks like it.
That was the whole intent. So like they there's different cards that I learned or didn't know when I started my job that I had heard about in school, but they just kind of like glossed over it, and then get into my job of like, okay, they really want us to know.
Can
this
Jasmen pull a random one and read it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's learn some shit.
Yeah.
Do right by the street shit.
Do right by the streets. Zoning. Process
good one.
of determining where some uses are allowed and others are not, adopted to separate more intense uses, industrial, manufacturing, from residential and commercial uses, became a tool to segregate communities of color from white communities. Very cool.
So like
Gotta know about zoning.
even not really knowing anything about planning, even not knowing anything about the city or whatever, you can see it. Like, you can feel it.
Now you understand there's boundaries in the city that were created to disenfranchise Black people.
Right.
And those exact zoning laws go into voting zonings as well, which is who can vote and where, which is how we suppress voters that are Black, which is why voting is whack. Did you see how I rhymed that though? I did that.
You gotta get in the
but
studio.
no, I'm not gonna hate on you for the voting. I'm gonna give you love.
I think it's everybody's different passion, and I think the way that it was brought on to me of like, that's my civic right. I don't do a lot of other things.
No, I agree.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna recycle.
Yeah, I'm really not a hater. I think the people that are passionate about it, I love these. I love that.
On social media, I don't get into like my big background of like, oh, y'all, I was told God counseled I wasn't, maybe college wasn't it or whatever. I want people to follow me to learn about the planning shit, but it's engulfed in I'm still a regular person, a regular Black person that happens to be saying the things that may bar you from jobs and may piss people off, openly gay, openly tattooed in a way that, even now, my mom is still, semi-worried of, are you going to be able to get a job with 2 hand tattoos? I was like, I guess that ain't a job for me. So that's yeah, like it's not my job.
My life for me.
Yeah, and it's not because
I'm gonna do what I want to do.
At first, I had to understand
because I'm good at what I do and recognize these receipts. So
I'm not finna.
Y'all called me to do this, so you're gonna now judge me because I have a tattoo somewhere you don't
like you said,
me.
that was a conversation with my mama that it was we had to agree to disagree. Of she understood. She's like, I know you're good at what you do. Why do you struggle? I was like, oh, because even though I'm not rambunctious on the table. Like, I ain't finna stand. I'm not gonna stand for anything really.
Shit.
I'm gonna just leave at lunch type of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And not leave at lunch. I ain't never done that. But I'm gonna leave and be like, yeah, tomorrow is gonna be a call-in day. But
leave. I'm not
just
gonna leave at lunch.
being able to be a reflection, like you said earlier, on Instagram or social media of everything got to be perfect or you got to fit into this. You wake up and you're good at this, or you wake up and you just fell into it. Like, I'm a regular person with a very unique profession, and that I've been flipping it and remixing it for the last almost 6 years of I don't want to be like everybody before me. Like, I don't want this profession to be the death of our community for too much longer. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Absolutely.
Well, then we know who the fuck you are now. So what makes you dope?
what makes me dope?
I think she just told y'all, honestly.
I don't even really, I'll say that I care about communities without having to be on the front. Like, I genuinely care. Like you said, you're supposed to be from South Dallas. Like, I care about it enough to say I'm not, but my love for South Dallas is the same way that it runs for Arlington.
Mm-hmm.
I show the love.
Real. Mm-hmm.
I show the love without having to be on the face of it. Like, yeah, there's a couple flyers that was
and
made.
you don't have to be from a community to organize for a community that needs help organizing.
People have a hard time conceptualizing
No,
that.
but the thing is, if we expected every community to just thrive on its own,
We wouldn't be here.
And we talked about this on another episode, but some whole communities are in survival mode.
Every time.
So to get to thrival mode, they need the help of people from communities that can come in, not to gentrify them and take what they have, but to show them how to get to a place where they can have the resources. It's all really just about
Access.
networking to get the right resources.
Just about access. So, and that makes me, I'm genuine. Like, you can't buy that. There's nothing that I want out of it. There's nothing that I want out of you. I'm genuine about it. Like, we applied for a grant with the State Fair of Texas. It's like $5,000, which may not seem like a lot to some people.
You could do a lot with that.
Yeah, we applied for it some months ago. I had fucking forgot about it. And we got it. That's like the first grant I've ever applied for that we
Shout
got.
out Grant.
For sure. Shout out to State Fair in some respects. And I'm gonna swing back to that.
I fuck with that.
We started. We read the accommodation.
And I'm gonna come back to that too. So with that, I want to be able to say we're gonna do something before the fair. Somebody brought up a really good thought. The last food park of, well, shit, why don't you do a food park on the same weekend as the fair? I was like, oh. I hadn't thought about it because I know it's hectic over there. It's chaotic getting to South Dallas when the fair
can't
is
park and
you can't do shit.
Yeah,
You
that's
can't
crazy.
You
even
want to cry.
You just want to get out the car and leave it.
you don't go to South
Like,
Dallas then.
I'll come back for the car, maybe.
Actually, y'all just take it.
I'll leave my car in the driveway and
Have
I'll Uber everywhere
Right.
till the fair's over.
Just have it. You know what I'm
Says
saying?
the South Dallas
And so,
resident.
like, promoting, I'm gonna still say we're promoting the park's evolution. We're making people see the park beyond just being like a trendy food park. Like, that was never the intention. I inherited it, and I knew from the jump of, okay, we talked about food policy from a business perspective. But realistically, food policy as like access and quality is actually a thing. How do we do our part to start to address that in a real way? That is actually building community equity. So, yeah, we might be back in September around the fair.
Okay. I'm excited for that because I would love like
to the food park.
I would love like a chill weather food park.
Yeah,
it
not
would
one
be a
that you
different
like
vibe.
Fall, yeah.
Listen, I'm with it.
You're not sweating the whole time.
This is 2 Peas in a Pod. If you like what you heard, make sure you subscribe and follow us on every platform at 2PS_pod.
And make sure you go on over to YouTube and check out the video from this season.
The literature we discussed in this episode can be found at the link in our bio.
At our Instagram, which is at 2PS_pod. 2 Peas in a Pod is hosted by J. Nicole and B Diggity Dog.
Audio editing and sound design by Derek B.
Music by Imperial Soul.
Thanks for listening, y'all.